has 13 children.
So for ladies who are still searching, I have one boy.
Oh.
So
That is not good news for ladies.
Kano, UPDF honored the business community in Mbale by an award.
Oh.
Yes, because in the history of RCC, the CDF and his employees has never been given a dinner during RCC celebrations.
But we actually do the dinners ourselves.
That's right. Next.
good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm Mbale chairperson in RCC Mbale.
Yes. He's leading the market which was collecting 12 million before his intervention. But after
building it.
No, even after building it, it was collecting 12 million. But when we made some interventions and made him a chairperson, within 4 months it had collected close to 100 million. So it means
that is a trick, Mr. Kenneth. Leadership.
Yes.
Leadership.
Next.
Good evening. My name I'm called Kazue John.
Yes.
Always I have a nickname called JJ. So that we are very happy to meet you. Yes, sir. State radio, signal, every radio, IU. Good morning, everybody. Already morning.
Good morning, gentlemen and ladies. By name of God Mwanje Muhammad, Research and Information, Mbale State Business Community.
Environmental Health Officer and Admin Officer and Minister of University Colombia.
Yes.
Did you wash your hands? I don't know your rules, how you to say. Those who wash their hands, they eat with their mouth. That's what I'm here.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm Akiki.
Yes.
I'm the medical assistant.
Yes.
From this organization,
Yes.
You are the political staff to
Honorable
Good morning.
my name is Ezra Musenzi.
Yes.
I'm a businessman in Mbale.
Yes.
But I have another name called Masao.
Yes.
Yes, when you meet me here, call me Masao.
But you can add that you are the first person who gave me a loan.
just here masquerading. But he has been here for long and I told him myself.
Okay, you're welcome. Businessman, but you added that you are
I'm happy to be here, enjoying this cocktail with our canoe. You're most welcome to Mbale City. By the name of the knowledge of Fradia, I'm a Catholic. I'm a secretary, minister for production and social services in Mbale City. You're most welcome.
And the Secretary of Honor, you're most welcome. Kasari inside my name, the Speaker of Investors. But add that when we had the receipt in the Tareka, you appeared with the name of Radio Masala. You should add that. Because I wish for there was
already became a speaker.
I became the speaker before I went to the radio.
Really?
Yes. It was only amplified. Now we call upon the senior political leader here. Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
My name is Daniel Mariam.
Yes.
I'm the speaker of Mbale City.
You can even welcome now to
Maria.
This is most welcome to Mbale City.
yes, and can have a word to give.
We are so happy to have you at this time.
Yes.
Don't get say everyone is listening, but you'll spend the time to come and have to do that. We're so happy. Thank you so much.
Ahmada is my name. I'm the resident city commissioner, Mbale City. I've been here accompanied by a very powerful delegation of my dear wife.
My support.
We are now introduced. Well, you know that she's mine. Right?
Good morning. I'm called Mbale A.Washaki.
Yes.
I'm the one who
Produced so come on. We are all happy, and really we have not felt that we are in the next day. For us, we are thinking it was started, but because of the joy we have, that His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, saw it fit to reappoint Colonel Deogratius Akiki back to his portfolio of being the Deputy Defense and Army Spokesperson. For us, as people of Mbale City, really, we are very much excited because we know you from your lower cadreship up to where you are. You have never disappointed us. Ronda Rugari, I was saying he's coming, but you did not know that you sold to him what?
Yes.
A team. So do you see the connection now are reopening? So it's going to tell the people that when you are in Mbale, the person who hosted you sold me a very good new furniture. Do you see how you get market? Kano is the reason we feel happy to welcome you to Mbale City. Mbale City is a younger city. It is growing at a terrific speed. By these connections we are making and interaction we are making, we are selling the city. So that when you are in Mbale, people want to go to Rwenzori, you say, but there is Mount Elgon National Park here. And there is no facility. You say, you go and invest in hotel. Do you see how we market ourselves? You name that. Is the reason we are here. I don't have any other words. On behalf of all of you, we congratulate him. And we also thank my daughter. You know, if you don't have a powerful lady like mine here, you cannot go through all these hurdles. You know it, isn't it? So the same to him, Kano, because he has also a very good personal assistant. Is the reason he's able to do national duties without any problem. Otherwise, we condole with the UPDF and His Excellency the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces for having lost our general. Those generals, including the HE number one, I worked with them. It is only that we parted ways, but at that time, the decision of parting ways was not mine. Because at that time, for me, I was following the order that you go this way, I go this way, this one goes this way. But all those generals you see, I've ever worked with them. And the good thing is that I worked with them very well. Otherwise, by now would have been the Aka enemies. Even when I went to HE, when I reminded him that we have ever been somewhere, he said, is it true? Yes, I said it is true. But if it was bad or I did anything bad, then it would have been bad news. So all of us, wherever we are, let us try to relate well because we meet again. Because the IO here didn't know that Kano is coming. Immediately, you are here. Now, if you had offended him, it would have been bad news. Otherwise, we welcome you to Mbale. Feel free. See, because we are rushing back to go and attend the burial and require a mass, but otherwise, we would have stayed here for all this week and maybe next month. I thank you, and really, I thank you, members for honoring my invitation. This invitation was by phone, and some of them, like Ronald Gar, I called him over when he had reached in Mavila. He said, I'm coming. When I reached, I thought he was not coming. But immediately he reached, he passed the car, just came straight here. That is a sign of confidence in me working with you members. Let us support each other to ensure all of us, like we are seated here, our role is to deliver services on behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda. I, RCC, DPC, whoever, even Rwanda Rugari, if he doesn't do good quality furniture, he will not sell and pay tax. So we are all working for him to ensure we deliver services to the people. May I, at this juncture, not waste any more time, but invite our Mugore, even if we are in a period of mourning, but at least we can have some few minutes of celebrating by getting a word from him. As the people goes on serving there, for me, I don't take anything which is like green, but it is there. You just remember that I want that one which Washaki wanted, and you take it. Let us feel free. Comrade, you are welcome back to your state.
Senior members from the security, colleagues, friends, our elder, Rwanda Rugari. I need to single you out.
Yes.
Because the time we met, we talked a lot of things which you may have forgotten. You are a very good speaker. I remember we sat in that Vimpi or whatever. Wimpe. I think not once, it was like 3 times. Every time I would find, because that time it was the safest place to be. I'm happy to meet you tonight. But first of all, I begin by apologizing, although the RCC has been trying to say, no, it's okay, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. But I apologize with a reason. Because when the RCC invited me, he really kept on talking to me for long. I had to bring my wife on board and say there is a very important visit I need to make. And when I called confirming, I told him that I will be here by 2. Unfortunately, I could not make it because of the general's death. I was still enjoying my holiday. I have not yet taken over office because we waited for the generals to take over. Me, I'm taking over on Monday. Monday or Tuesday, no. On Monday, we have a function in Kololo, the requiem mass for service for the general. So I will take over on Tuesday, most likely. But substantively, I am the deputy spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense and UPDF. And I'm called the Kanadewa Akiki. Those who follow me on Twitter, because Facebook officially we closed it, but we still go there for us who are in publicity for some reason, and we don't break any law. I want, first of all, to thank the RCC for doing something which I think I have never experienced in my life of work. This is going really to go into in my history, in my autography. That's why I was insisting that even if it's night, I must have good pictures because I started writing my history. So I keep always adding. So this is already an item added, and it must appear there with the pictures. So to me, it is an honor that I have never received from my seniors like the RCC. You might ask yourselves why the RCC called. There are very many canals. There are powerful canals out there. Maybe more than me. So it was like, why me? I have a history. My colleagues here know that I always say that I'm not an ordinary canal. Why? It's because I try to be the way I have been brought up by the institution, they have put me into multiple dimensions. So at some point you find me in politics. That I don't play partisan. But you know which role I play. Now let me tell you something. When we are doing what they call kiapo, these guys will tell you, or when we are swearing in, we say we shall Tamulinda Rais, we shall protect the president, his family, and then all other things. It is a very long. Whenever you hear words and those soldiers are putting their arms up, we swear a lot of things. So for us, when these politicians are busy looking for votes and they are like, some of them try to influence our soldiers to know who will they vote. For me, I don't hide. I tell them that yes, I will vote President Museveni. Say, oh, you are being partisan. I said, but I took an oath. Now, how do I vote different? And then I say, I vowed to do this. My role is not to change the president. If you, the civilians, change him, then I will vote the one you have changed. But the one who is there is the one I will vote. Because if I don't vote the one who is there, then I will be breaking my vows. But very many people don't understand that science. And we keep it to ourselves because we don't want people to use the constitution and all of those things. They will not understand our political jargons, how we relate with the politics. And it's not a crime for any military officer to be engaged politically. He may not be engaged non-partisanly, but politically we can get involved. So I'm bringing this to try to show you how do I get so close with senior RDCs and RCCs. It's because at a certain level, there is no way you can work without an RCC and RDC. If you realize all our PROs, their offices are under RCCs, RDCs offices. So if the RDCs, you don't have a PRO here, unfortunately we are few, but there are those we are grooming. But every PRO should work with the DISO, the CISO now. So the PRO, CISO, RCC, that was always the cocoon in all districts where we worked. And this was something that was developed by the late General Ronda before he died. And we worked with them very well. Some of us who were groomed, you saw me as probably as a lieutenant up to a captain, and they have really, they have mentored us. So we are lucky to be a few of us who were mentored both by political heads and military heads. And I'm very sure the likes of my brothers here, they are proud of some of us. And we are proud of them because when we know what is happening here, say you guys in operations, how can we do this? And we find out coming out with something. Now, before I talk, it's a problem I talk too much because of being a spokesperson. Now I was going to forget to introduce the most beautiful woman. My wife is called Maseka Nsime Asimo Akiki. Simu is my name, which I gave her. Yes, there must be accountability. She's my wife, and I want to state that when we were coming, when it reached 3 o'clock, she said, "No, there's no way you can go to make such a visit, and you go there late." I said, "Even if it is midnight, I will report." So by the time it was coming to 5, she had almost given up. I said, "I'm tired, I've been up and down, you will drive." So she was the pilot from Kampala up to here. If we delayed, she's responsible. Yes, but I just want to thank Mama for doing a very good job. It's not easy to bring. I saw I was like, bring out this old man to this level and you are still holding it together. It's not an easy job. We had experiences from Madam Speaker and Siso. You experience may not be there. I may not even have words to say because I'm feeling like I'm overwhelmed. But one or two things that they always talk. Number one, the RCC hinted on it is network. Actually, I wish there was a paper here, Sir RCC, where you can get all the telephone numbers, the telephone numbers of all of you, so that I'm able to network with you. This world of today, this generation of ours, maybe RCC may be running out of it. But the rest of you, when I look at you, our generation is a generation of networking. And Mr. Wanda, but you can see Mr. Wanda is still networking. He's still networking. You see, at 80, he's still good to go. He looks younger, much younger. So please, let us forget about our titles. By the way, me, if you look at my background, I'm from a very humble background. I have known people who matter in the whole of this country and beyond. Not all, but at least I have known people that I cannot die on the way. Or I can't sleep hungry. Or I can't have a problem and it is not solved. I can assure you, at the level I am on, it is very difficult. The example is when I went for a course, these gentlemen know. For us, when you go for a course, they put you in a cage. They just want your head, sometimes your body. Those ones which involve a lot of, they need also your body. But for us here, at my level, they need your head. And they don't allow you, like I was cut off completely for 1 year. I have done a lot of courses abroad. When you go there, they cut you off. But you can see my wife is not looking back. After 1 year without me. The only thing our wives have to earn extra money. But it was not because of me. Trust me. We are not good managers of business because we are always busy. Friends. We have networks. People would come in. We know Deo is not around. They bring things you do not expect. We know Deo is not around. Madam, I have sent you some money for whatever. A lot. If she stands here to testify, she will cry. But it is all because of networking. Two is building friends. Building friends. I always ask myself, why do people struggle to make enemies? What is the essence? What do you need from making an enemy? Is there any reason why you should make enemies? No. If you check, I don't know whether it changed, but it has been on for long. My WhatsApp. My first line is always make the world my friend. I know I can't make the whole world my friend. There are people, he meets you and he sees your face and achukia you know. Have you ever heard of that? Somebody sees you now, immediately now kugana. Have you ever heard such a thing? Thank God it has never happened to me. Maybe God created me different. And I pray that it shouldn't happen to you. Try as much as possible to make everyone your friend. Where you can't pretend. Because that pretense sometimes can make a good impact on the other side. So you thought you'd be enemies. Someone all of a sudden is like, this man, I think, or this woman is of a good heart, even when you did not intend it. I learned this from Americans. I stayed in the US at least for like US and German running courses for some time. I learned something from the Bazungu. They have plastic smiles. Have you heard of plastic smiles? Those you have interacted with, have you ever realized? Mzungu will meet you and like, it's not laughing, that it's like, hey, hi. Smiles, and you're like, oh, how are you? Oh. For you, you feel inside you are, but I think they try to avoid, like to show that even if because there is a lot of, you see this Bazungu when you are there is when you realize there is racism there. There They come here and preach democracy, but when you go there, when you're black, you have to treat very carefully. There are those who are very good, and there are those who still have the other bad heart of segregating blacks. So they can show you that plastic smile and go away just to avoid bringing the other racism thing. But for us, when we stayed with them, when you go deep, you'll find that they try to segregate. But they try at least to fight it. So for us, who they give those plastic smiles, we also smile back with a very big African smile. Some of them we have won them. At the end of the day, like, hey. Now for you who have traveled, when you are in the US, there are two categories of blacks. You will find a black who is a black American and a black who is an African black. An African black is somebody who have come from Uganda. You go to the US to do your own business. But when he sees you, he will first think you are black American. Black Americans have their own history because of how they were treated. They are actually rough. So they always fear. So when you smile and the smile is turned and then he hears the accent, he says, oh, this is an African black. Immediately you become friends. But I'm trying to build all this story to show you that even those people who do wish to be enemies to each other, they have tried to create a plastic smile. You never know. Maybe this is not a bad guy, and they have benefited from it. So two things. Maybe the third thing that I should talk about is you are all leaders. I'm sorry. This guy is in yellow. I don't know who is in red. I don't know who is green, black, or whatever. Our political leanings. I think our leaders, if you are really to think at the level of leadership, let's stop thinking partisan. Practically, you may do those partisan things, but now imagine here. Should I assume that all of these are NRM guys, Mr. RCC? Are these all NRM?
They are all patriotic Ugandans.
That is the word I wanted to bring, but you're bringing it before I say it. I just wanted to use the word, just love your country. Honestly, I have traveled the countries. Recently, there was this issue of the airline. Unfortunately, now I may be biased because the lady who was being fought is my tribal. But how people were talking, you know how all of us were excited about the Uganda Airlines. Then something small about individuals, somebody wants to put out as much negative about the airline, which all of us have been waiting for, without minding about the consequences this brings to the country and the airline itself, just because of one single person. But that is lack of patriotism. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no any other country you will ever get and make it your country. Never. We have heard of asylum seekers. They are people who are born as refugees, but your country remains your country. Even if you go, I always hear this, I even don't know why. You see, they say when a child has not moved, he thinks the mother is the one who cooks the best. This struggle for people to go to Europe, to go to the US, to go. I always say, ask us who have been there. Go there when it is summer. You will hear what summer means. Leave alone here when it is hot it reaches around 38, 39. You say, oh, it is hot. There it is. You feel like burning. Like if there is fire here and when it is cold, you hear pinching. The ears become very hard. You do like this, you hear as if it is not your ear. And that is the country you want to go and stay. Until they go there, that's why our president says he never goes for holiday to Europe. He would rather go to work tour and somewhere else. And some of you have moved know this. Recently I was in Egypt as I was on the coast. Egypt here, but because Egypt also is near Europe, it has some characteristics like Europe. The time we spent there, everybody was like, when do we go home? Immediately you cross, as you sit down the plane, you see even the green, the way the green develops in this part of Africa. Uganda. Actually, when you enter Uganda, forget Kenya. Those who know Kenya, you know, as you come towards Nairobi, you see stones, what rocks, and then as you cross Lake Victoria, you still see life. Until you land, you're like, wow. This country is a very blessed country. And let us all, no matter where we belong, we see a lot of nonsense on Twitter, on social media. I don't know really how this, but we shall continue talking. RCC, keep talking so that people don't use this social media to destroy our generation. If I continue talking, I will not stop. I want just to thank you. I talked 3 points. I hope they are picked. Let's be patriotic, love our country. Let's network. Let's love each other. Let's make friends. I'm telling you, unless one does not like, I'm going to harass each of you to make sure we are friends. So it will be positive harassment. So if you wake up one day, you see them and you saying hi, please you respond. Even if you don't want, you respond. You never know what comes next. So I want to thank you. I should have started that for waiting this long, and it shows me something. I was waiting for pictures to make sure I tweet this, but I realized if I tweet it now, it won't go very far because people are not on Twitter. I want to tweet it where it will go up to all other districts and say, this is the spirit of Mbale. And I thank you, RCC, once again for hosting. I was staying in the north and north.
So remember,